Bred to Win, brought to you by Inglis, the Inglis Main Sale Series. Mares, Yearlings and Weanlings, Riverside Stables, May 2 to 9.
Hello, I'm Caroline Searcy. Welcome to another week of Bred to Win. This week we recap some of the big Group 1s on day 2 of the championships at Royal Randwick and touch on plenty of stallion updates in Aushorse news, the busy bees in Cambridge Stud's farm life and the Inglis Graduate of the Week. Plus an extended interview with the man behind the China Horse Club, Teo Ah King, and Aston Bloodstock's Wilf Mula in Arrowfield Stud's The Horse Who Made You Love Racing. A big week in the bloodstock world, so let's recap in Aushorse news. Plenty of news around this week, including the announcement by Vinery Stud they'll have 2 new stallions at their Victorian base this year, joining Nakoni and Star Witness. SA Derby and Underwood Stakes winner Russian Camelot and Danehill and Kindergarten Stakes winner Doubtland were paraded at Widden's new base near Romsey for a number of Victorian breeders on Sunday. Russian Camelot will stand at a fee of $22,000 and Doubtland at $16,500. Kiora Stud has announced Golden Slipper winner Farnan by not a single doubt will stand his first season at $55,000, having won 5 of 8 starts and $2.5 million. His pedigree, the Great Cross of Redout's Choice and Street Cry through his group-winning dam Tallow. Newhaven Park in southwestern New South Wales have announced their new sire, New Zealand Group 1 winning 2-year-old by Savabeel, Tiakau's Cool as a Beel, will stand his first season for $16,500. Ole Kirk has arrived at his new home for season 2021, Vinery Stud. The Talondirt Golden Rose and Caulfield Guineas winner is by Written Tycoon, from a full sister to sprinting champion Black Caviar, and he's a great outcross for the huge number of Danehill line mares in Australia. G1 Goldmine's affinity matrix of Ole Kirk's sire Written Tycoon shows that from looking at 7 generations of his Group 1 winners, Danehill is found in 36% of them, while the Great Breed Shaper appears in 47% of Written Tycoon's stakes winners, including his most recent black type success stories Dosh, Finance Tycoon, Enthar, Kalashnikov and Capitalist. When Written Tycoon is the grandsire, that increases to an incredible 80% of his stakes winners, with Danehill on the dam side. And take a look at the G1 Goldmine stallion match for the Vinery Stallions, who already have runners, if you're looking to see how your mare matches up with all the Vinery Stallions.
The Grey Flash is now an Everest legend.
Breeders are getting behind the world's richest race on turf as Arrowfield Stud partners with the Star to secure a slot in the Everest for the next 3 years. While Godolphin has also taken a slot, having had Bivouac run an exciting second in 2020 and other place getters Trekking and Osborne Bulls in past runnings. And finalists for the 2021 Australian Stud and Stable Staff Awards have been confirmed, with a huge representation of workers making the judging an extremely robust and fascinating undertaking. There wasn't much between any of the shortlisted candidates, and the finalists are, in the leadership category, Dave Hanratty from Yarradale Stud in Western Australia and Sam Parks from Godolphin Woodlands in New South Wales. Horsemanship finalists are Adam Shankly from Arrowfield Stud and Mandy Radiker from Michael Lakey's stables in Queensland. Dedication to racing finalists are Lindsay Parks, Gary Fennessy and John Brady from the Waterhouse Bott stable in Sydney. Dedication to breeding finalists are Steve Bryan from Twin Hills Stud and Carla Alafon from Victoria's City View Farm. The administration and ancillary finalists are Magic Millions, Cassandra Simmons and Jess Hood from Arrowfield Stud. Thoroughbred care and welfare is between Queensland's Jordan Priest and Victoria's Jade Willis, and the newcomer category finalists are Fiona Bailey of Mar Eustace Racing and Jack Cripps from McAvoy Mitchell. The award presentation will take place on the 26th of May on the Gold Coast.
And a Dave goes back to back. The Beast of Britain's done it.
Saturday's racing at Royal Randwick contained a number of highlights, but the battle of the $4 million Queen Elizabeth Stakes was a remarkable result for all connected with back-to-back winner Adabe. Very Elegant was gallant again in defeat. Adabe is a son of Nureyev line stallion Pivotal, who retired from stud duties earlier this year after a 28-year career at Cheveley Park in the UK. The Inglis Graduate of the week was none other than Doncaster winner Natoya, who added another Group 1 to her CV with victory in the Queen of the Turf Stakes. The daughter of Sebring from the family of Absolutely was bought for only $20,000 through Session 2 of the 2015 Inglis Easter Yearling Sale. The mare is entered for this year's Chairman Sale at Riverside on Friday, May 7. And the Inglis Early April online sale was topped by the Schnitzel mare Iguazu Falls in Foal to Brutal, bought by the Lofty Group for $167,000. Top seller from the Godolphin entries was Raoul, seen here running second to Black Opal winner Kalashnikov. The 3-year-old was bought for $145,000 by Sean Driver of Corinda Bloodstock to be aimed at the Kosciuszko. Entries for the late April online sale close at midnight on Wednesday, April 21. The China Horse Club is widely recognised around the world for its distinctive red and gold star colours and its investments in Group 1 winners from Kentucky Derbies to Golden Slippers. I caught up with the man behind China Horse Club, Teo Ah King, to hear about their plans for the future at the recent Inglis Easter Yearling Sale.
But it is a complete runaway for Improbable.
Teo Ah King, it's fabulous to sit down with you and have a chat about all things China Horse Club. Welcome back to Sydney, and you've been here for some time now.
Well, thank you, Caroline. And yes, 2013 is to be precise how we started the China Horse Club venture in Australia and New Zealand particularly.
You've developed so much. You now have a farm, the Chase, down in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales. But, you know, overall, the whole of China Horse Club is, you know, from racehorses, you've won the Golden Slipper with Stay Inside this year, the stallions are flying, you have the first of your sire, Russian Revolution, those yearlings being sold this year. Has it grown, you know, more than you thought it would in such a short time?
To be honest, the philosophy of China Horse Club, I think we continue to focus on a couple areas. Breeding wasn't the initial ideas, but it evolved, as you can see, and based on the winners that we have purchased from the yearlings. Russian Revolution is one example. But I think we also pride ourselves being into networking businesses, bringing members around the world, racing first and foremost, and later on get them to be interested in overall horse industries, and later on buying broodmare to support the stallions. So all in, yeah, I think for the last 6-7 years, we have been actively supporting a lot of upstart, bright stars, and the result now is a medium term, and it shows in the light of Extreme Choice, Flying RT, and we hope that the Russian Revolution will step into the shoes sooner than later.
Tell us about the membership. How does it work now? Because I mean, you know, you've had so much success. It's a great promotion for the brand China Horse Club. But what is the interest in China, and what do they get from being a member?
Well, it had to go back to the original idea of we realized the time when we were in Dubai, and we noticed a lot of Asians slowly increasing the numbers to the Dubai World Cup year after year. As you know, when we finished and completed the Meydan Racecourse in the year 2019, there were only a couple of hundred actively participating the Asians in the racing industries. That include Vietnamese, the Thai, you know, so on and so forth. But over the years, the idea started to sort of concretize, and we thought if we have a club that will harness all this interest together, and then we started racing in China as you know, in 2013, and then followed up by in Singapore, we call it CCF. The idea is very similar to present day's Everest. So member buying horses, each one has a slot and race competitively all around the world. So that momentum continue, and we have 6 CCF in China, and now 2 years ago, before the COVID, we have it in St. Lucia, which is also an ideal sort of a holiday island and settled between China and USA. So that kind of for other business reason. Oh no, I think the members are happy, and a lot of them stay in and increase their investment portfolio with us.
And first seal's going to be much too good, wins it by 3. Winks is second.
Take us back to the early days here in Australia, because you did wind up, making some good contacts early on that helped you, particularly, when it comes to your first Group 1 winner, first seal.
Well, I'm thankful for you raising this episode here. When we first started, the person that actively and endorsing our concept was the late Datuk Tan Chin Nam, as a Malaysian, as you can appreciate. And he then introduced me to Duncan, and Duncan then introduced also, brought in and the great legend, the late Buck Cummings. So we decided we get enough budget 1 year. It wasn't big, it was about 400 over 1,000 to go to New Zealand to get some horses. And lo and behold, there was a bigger shock of my life. We bust the budget, but managed to get a horse we want. It was over $750,000 New Zealand dollars, and this horse then turned out to be first seal. That's how we started, and it was early on in the acquisition, even though the members soon forgive me for busting the budget, but that also established a trend.
Yes.
And later on, we ventured into Europe, and we got our first horse, stallion, Australia.
Yes.
And then a couple of years later, we have a horse called Justify, and now we are happily involved in Say Inside. So basically, that complete in 7 years our stallion trilogy.
Yeah.
We have Epsom Derby,
Yes.
we have Kentucky Derby,
Yes.
and now we have the most race that people coveted for.
Yes.
That is the Golden Slipper.
Yes.
So I'm happy to say that we so far the members are giving a thumbs up.
You now are in these great bidding duels yourself with Newgate Farm as well, when you're buying some of these yearlings, or yourselves when you're buying fillies. I guess there's still always a budget though, isn't there? There has to be an upper limit.
Oh yes, generally speaking there is, but more often than not, sometimes you really like something and the kind of hobby kicks in and push the discipline aside. We can forgive some of the shortcomings of X-rays or scope, but I think Justify is a perfect example of that story. That finally we got him, even though he didn't race as a 2-year-old, but he came in as a champion and as a 3-year-old and continued within 112 days become the Triple Crown. Yeah.
And when you see a horse such as him standing at stud, obviously at Coolmore Stud here in the Hunter Valley here in New South Wales, it must fill you with enormous pride.
Yeah, I think not just because of it was successful and we went to the very successful farm. In terms of the China Horse Club and the partners venture in the early days, within 5 years, I think we will be able to prove and convince to a lot of potential fan-sitter to come on and come in, and that's where we are right now. We are very fortunate to have very credible partners with us along the way all these years, and we are still with Coolmore, sending our stallions. We are with Winstar in the United States, and of course in Australia here, and Newgate and Henryfield and the team and our partner in Gavin. I think I'm going to say that we are very fortunate to have all the credible partners all these years.
And you have, of course, the Chase, your own property too, where you've been staying, of course, with Ivy, your wife, through the whole COVID thing for a few months now. It's a great thing, the way you're setting that up now, and you are taking in horses as, spellers or horses to agist as well.
The Chase itself took a couple of years, and this is our 6 years in operation. Only until this year, we think that the plays are now a bit matured, and I think trainers have come and seen them. And so far, we have quite a a good line of trainers sending their horses to spell over at the chase. And we are very happy about that, it's so close to Sydney. And also we use that place to rest as well from Singapore when you come here. And I think the horses, after the spell, they looks good. Really looks good.
What are you enjoying the most? I mean, you also have horses you've bred as well. What do you enjoy the most between, obviously winning Golden Slippers is great, but siring, having your stallions retire to start and the race fillies as well to produce the next generation. What really gives you the biggest buzz in the industry?
I think from a commercial angle, last year was a big surprise to us that we have a cell topper right in the midst of COVID.
Yes.
It was a really pleasant surprise. And this year, I think she's throwing out another very beautiful piece of art, I would call them.
Yes.
So all in, we are slowly evolving from not just racing and identifying all the elite broodmares that we had. Just within the last 5 months, we produced 2 Group 1s in the United States from our broodmare band. And Kimari won the Group 1 2 days ago in the Medicine States. So overall in Australia and also in Europe, we do have and consolidate our broodmare band. And we believe that the team behind this and the partnership, our band of broodmare will continue to produce a winner. And every one of them, the progeny are for sale. Our philosophy is that offer them reasonable price and let the market decide. And so far, I think the market has responded very positive to our philosophy. That if we really like our own, we go into the market and buy them back.
Yes.
Yeah, or try to buy them back.
If you can,
If I can, yeah. The idea of breeding is almost like going to school and learning all the arts and crafts. The biggest market that we would like to see opening up is, of course, China. And right now, when we enter in Australia, the industries, in 2013, there were only also a handful of people. But if you look at it now, right? You look at a big breeding farm in Melbourne and Victoria and Sydney. So we believe that the momentum will catch up. And in a couple of years, when the market open up, we're all ready, including our partners in Australia and America and even Europe, that we can collectively contribute and offer something, our know-how, into that country.
How do you think the wagering side? I mean, this is the big thing, isn't it, within China? Is there any easing of the attitude towards that?
Well, Chinese members and the punters are very aggressive. If you look at Hong Kong, if you look at Macau, they do participate actively. But if you look at their technological advancement in China, they are way ahead of many. They are using 5Gs. So we're talking about wagering. There must be a new way of the game that involve the latest technology developed in that part of the world. And currently we are also exploring how to put aside some of those concerns, the bad effect, and be able to use the technology to circumvent. And I think they are very open-minded. Some of the regional leadership are very open to ideas. And so this is currently the ongoing discussion. We're still sort of improving, and hopefully for the next couple of years, we have reached a level that we can then be able to really tackle the challenge from China. That's our ultimate goal, Caroline.
It's been a meteoric rise by Teo and the China Horse Club, and we look forward to seeing the red and gold colours saluting in big races for many years to come. Coming up on Bred to Win, the Cambridge Stud performance of the week, and Farm Life, a look behind the scenes at Cambridge, home to plenty of busy bees. Cambridge Stud Performance of the Week came from a daughter of a stallion who Cambridge have supported at the yearling sales, the unbeaten champion Frankel. Hungry Heart added the ATC Australian Oaks to her Vinery Stud Stakes Group 1 winning record as she dominated one of the world's great fillies classics. It was a magnificent result for Yulong Farms' Yusheng Zhang, who's invested heavily in the Australian breeding industry. Hungry Heart went through the Magic Millions yearling sale for $300,000 and now has earnings of over $1.5 million. Now let's again go behind the scenes in Cambridge Stud's Farm Life.
There's not a Kiwi up here that can do this, no? What are the chance of an Irishman and an Aussie man doing this video of Cambridge Stud?
Yeah, in New Zealand.
In New Zealand. Hi, I'm Trevor.
And I'm Aaron.
And today we're going to show you the hardest working people here. Oh no, I can't do that line. Can it just be just Aaron, me, Aaron?
No, you got it.
No, I don't have it. No. Hi, I'm Trevor.
And I'm Aaron.
And today we're going to show you the hardest workers here at Cambridge Stud.
Yeah, so the farm's looking really good, eh?
It really is. Today we're here to harvest the honey. So we have 11 hives in here and we're hoping to get 18 boxes of honey off it, hopefully. Plenty of nectar out there, as you can see our lavender here. In the background here we have our natives, and in there is manuka, and there's manuka through the farm as well. We have probably 6 or 7 different spots in the farm that are all planted in natives, that are all there for the bees. So they have it pretty good. There's some good pickings for them up here. They don't go hungry.
Quick, Trev, shut the gate before they escape, mate.
Yeah, we don't want them getting out.
You're not wrong, Trev. That's a good crop.
That is.
Look at that.
That's what we want to see.
That's beautiful. Have you come up with any names for them, Trev?
I have. There's Barry, Bart,
Brendan.
Brendan. Can't call it bee Brendan. The purpose of the bees on the farm here is for pollination. So they're here to pollinate the flowers, pollinate the paddocks, and they're doing a pretty good job of that. The upside then is we get all this lovely honey, and this lovely honey goes to feed the horses. So as well as the horses, the honey goes to clients of the stud. You know, it goes for Christmas presents. There's always a jar in the canteen for your smoko. Who doesn't love a bit of honey on toast? Actually me, I'm not a huge fan of honey, but that's okay. Other people seem to like it. Don't know about yours, Aaron, but there's a bit of weight in this one. Oh, that'd put your back out, that would, all that honey.
They can go out and forage, you know, all day and come back to an area like this with half a dozen hives and find their right home.
The work they do, we can't do as humans. The pollination they do in the farm, we can't replicate that. Without bees, we wouldn't be here. Bees, incredibly small, but do a massive job.
You wouldn't believe there were so many different parts to a thoroughbred stud farm, and another beautiful story there from Cambridge Stud. Coming up on Bred to Win, popular breeder and owner Wilf Mula in Arrowfield Studs, the horse who made you love racing.
This segment brought to you by Arrowfield Stud, the brand worth its weight in gold.
I think there's been so many fantastic horses, you know, during my time, but if I reflect, I suppose Kingston Town was really one that got my eye. It's when I started to go into racing, and, you know, I remember going to Rose Hill, even though he was in Melbourne, for example, and, you know, everyone used to say as he came down the straight, go the king, you know, and to think he won about 18 races here undefeated. So I think he's the sort of horse that made me love racing, and to look up at a magnificent animal like him to, you know, win from 6 furlongs to nearly win a Melbourne Cup. So I think he had all the attributes of, if you're passionate about racing, to say that's the sort of horse one day I hope I could own or be involved in.
Yeah, does that passion, I mean, you've had so much success with a lot of horses, in particular Flying Artie, of course, in your lovely pink colours. You know, does that passion, is it exactly the same feeling you get when you do have a horse such as him winning a Coolmore Stud Stakes, etc.? Oh,
there's no doubt. I think in those days I was just happy to be a part of a horse, and then with Paul Whelan I started breeding horses, and, you know, we got Fox Wedge together. They gave us a terrific thrill. I remember we hoped that we'd have a part of Fox Wedge, but the doctor decided he wanted to race him on his own. But anyway, that's another story. And then, you know, of late, you know, to have bred Mama Reagan, I think hopefully we haven't seen the best of him, and that's been a terrific thrill. And I think as I've got involved, I'm now involved with Newgate. They do a great job for me as a breeder, you know, not only my own farm, and hopefully the proof is in the pudding of what they've sold for me at Magic Million and here, and I think later on we've got some nice horses coming in the future. So hopefully we can get Flying Artie, keep him going.
And it is the love of a horse that really attracts people to want to invest, isn't it?
Oh yes, look, it's a very quick story, but when, as you know, I was born in Malta, and when I was in Malta, I was 8 years old. My uncle said to me, he said, you're going to Australia? He said, you know, horses in Australia are a penny each. And even though I was 7 or 8, I said to him, oh, that means for a shilling I can have 12 of them. And here's the story.
Not quite a shilling these days,
No, not quite true, but I think, you know, it shows you quantity is probably a better investment than maybe just 1 or 2.
He's the favourite of so many, isn't he? The great Kingston Town. That is Bred to Win for this week. Don't miss next week's show as we visit breaker extraordinaire Greg Bennett, the man who educated the Golden Slipper, Blue Diamond and Magic Millions winners this year. And Arrowfield Stud's delightful Susan Archer on the hospitality that keeps the buyers happy at a major sale. That's all next week. I'm Caroline CSE. Look forward to seeing you then.
Bred to Win, brought to you by Inglis, the Inglis May Sale Series. Mares, yearlings and weanlings, Riverside Stables, May 2 to 9.